Hi guys, I am finally back with my question and answer video. You've probably already forgotten what your question was, but 2 months ago in my special video where I was celebrating being 100 pounds down from my all-time highest weight, I had a giveaway of my favorite products and then I had you ask me some questions. I actually was wearing this same dress, so I decided to put it on again for you today. And now I am finally going to answer some of these questions. So let me get started because I think this is going to be pretty long. I will probably end up doing it in several parts, and I don't know if all of those parts will be today or not. Okay, so first question from Laura Lost and Found. What softeners, lotion, oil are you finding that work for you? I remember you trying several. Okay, so yes, I have tried several, but I really do have my absolute favorites. This shower oil from La Octane. Yeah, I love this shower oil because it kind of foams up, and you can use it like kind of like a shower gel, but it's an oil. I mean, it's wonderful. I got this from Sephora, but then of course you can get it from this actual store. And I love the Jose Marin products, so I really loved this whipped argan oil. So nice. These are kind of expensive. And then I also like their body scrub. I don't know if that's showing up. So yeah. And then I'm still always experimenting with different body butters and things, but really those are my favorite. They're the very most moisturizing. Okay, next from New Nisi. Is there a certain restaurant you miss eating at, and what do you do for recreation? So far, I can't say there's a certain restaurant that I miss eating at, except for just, certain foods that I might miss eating. So, for example, I guess I could say I have a favorite sushi restaurant that I haven't been to yet because I haven't tried sushi yet at all. So, I guess not yet, because there's just things that I haven't tried yet, and I still could. So, I think it's more certain foods, because, I love steakhouses, and I love Mexican. I haven't even had Mexican yet, but I know that I could go there and eat things without the tortilla. Okay, that's a long-winded answer. Really, no, there is not a certain restaurant that I miss eating at. What do I do for recreation? Well, I love to read. I used to read a lot more before all of this because I now feel like a lot of the time that I would have been reading, I'm now writing comments on YouTube videos, or I'm watching YouTube videos, or I'm on Instagram. And so I do like to read. I also listen to books on tape while I'm working. But once again, I used to do that more, and now I'm mostly listening to YouTube videos. I like to watch TV. I like to travel. I do like to gamble. I like to play penny slot machines. We have a lot of casinos here in Arizona, and there's actually one that's only 15 minutes from my house, so I admit that I do go to the casino a couple times a month. I like to just hang out with friends. I still like to go out to eat. Is that it? I think that's it. I used to love walking and hiking, and I haven't really been able to do that since the bone spurs in my feet keep me from doing that. So I'm hoping that one day in the future I'll be able to do that a lot more also. And, playing around with my dogs, so I guess that's something I do for recreation. Let's see, next from Marvel, Myself, RNY, or VSG. If you had to attribute your success to any factors, what would be the top 3? How would your journey have been different without these factors? If you had to attribute your success to any factors. Okay. I think one of the reasons that I am being very successful right now is actually my 6-month pre-op diet. That really helped me get in the right mindset. It helped me get into the habit of tracking and meal planning. And really, after surgery, I only continued doing what I was doing before surgery. So I think that is one of the number one factors. Number two, my YouTube channel. I mean, being able to watch all of you guys on YouTube, being able to share my journey on YouTube and the support that I get on here, and then also on Instagram, I think that greatly contributes to my success. And number three, maybe I don't know. Meditation is helping me a lot, so I think that is really helping me stay successful. So let's just call that number three. It's really helping my mindset and everything. It's helping me with my job stresses, and those are stresses that in the past would have led me to be stress eating more and emotional eating, and so which would decrease my success, of course. So the meditation that I have been doing daily and the gratitude practice, I think that has really contributed a lot to my success. And then, how would your journey have been different without these factors? It's hard to go back in time. I don't know. I've been successful before many times on other diets without any of those things. So I don't know. I don't know. Okay, losing it for me, 42. What is the thing you love the most about your journey so far? I guess having this YouTube channel and being able to share this journey with all of you guys. I think that is one thing that I am loving a lot. That is actually, of course, that's very different from anything that I've ever done before. I like how I'm getting to know some of you much better. So yeah, I think that's what I like the best about my journey so far. Even though I probably should say losing weight or wearing smaller sizes, but I don't know. I mean, those are things that, of course, that was the whole purpose of the journey. So this is something that's kind of unexpected in a way that I didn't expect to be a part of my journey, and I didn't expect it to be such an important part of my journey, the YouTube. Toya shrinking. How, who, or what keeps you motivated? The biggest thing that keeps me motivated is all of the failures that I have had in the past. I don't want to fail again. I'm tired of failing. And so I think that is one of the biggest things that I constantly keep focus on. Because I was thinking about this the other day, so that's why I was trying to figure out if I wanted to talk about this right now, but why not? If everything happens for a reason, then I've been trying to figure out, why did I have to lose weight so many times and regain my weight so many times? And so I've decided that in order for me to be successful this time, I have to learn the lessons that I did not learn before. And if I don't learn those lessons that I was supposed to learn before, then I'm going to be doomed to fail again. So I'm not treating this process as if it's something so totally new and different. Yeah, now I have a sleeve, so now I have a different tool. I'm not treating it that way. I actually think that for me, if I think of it that way, that is the number one thing that's going to set me up for failure. Because to me, that's going to be treating this as if it's no different from all the other types of diets and tools and things that I've used in the past. When I did Atkins, I thought, oh, this is the one that's going to work when Weight Watchers didn't work. And then I did Metafast, and it's like, oh, yeah, well, Metafast is going to work when Weight Watchers didn't work. And I put all of my focus on the plan or on the tools. And so to me, if I actually do the exact same thing with this sleeve, if I say, oh, it's going to work this time because I have the sleeve, then I think that I'm going to fail if I think of this process that way, which is why I'm not focused on my sleeve and my restriction and all of that stuff. I am more focused on working on my mind and the mental aspect and the emotional aspect, because I think that that is where I failed in the past. And all the times that I regained my weight in the past, it was never ever because of binge eating. I'm actually not a binge eater. I've never really talked about this before. I'm really an emotional eater. I'm not a binge eater. I don't even enjoy eating huge quantities of food. I really never ate huge quantities of food. Honestly, before surgery, I never even supersized a meal, ever. I've never supersized things. I don't like huge quantities of food. And so my weight, being overweight, was never due to me eating lots of food, and it never was due to me not being able to stop eating. It was always due to me, number one, eating the wrong foods, because my body is very sensitive to carbs. So eating what some people might consider a small amount of carbs still would cause me to gain weight and not be able to keep my weight off. And then number two, stress eating. So eating when I'm not hungry, eating when I'm stressed, but it wasn't always necessarily a large amount of food. It was just food that I shouldn't have been eating. What was her question? Oh, what keeps you motivated? So I am motivated by feeling like this is my final exam. So I spent a lot of years in school, so I like these school metaphors. I think of all of those other times that I failed in the past as tests and classes where I learned a lot about what foods I like and what foods I don't like, and I actually learned a lot about what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And then when I tried to take the test and lose weight, I always failed over and over again. And I feel like this is my final exam. And so every day I actually stay motivated by not wanting to fail this time. And also, I'm kind of competitive with myself. And so I want to win this time. I am going to pass this final exam. I am determined to do it this time. And so I constantly keep that in my mind. When I want to do things that I shouldn't do or eat things that perhaps I shouldn't eat, I just keep thinking, this is your final exam. You cannot fail your final exam. And that actually, it works for me. So yeah, that's how I stay motivated. It's almost time. It's almost 15 minutes already. Okay, it's just me. Do you notice the weight loss like we do? When do you weigh yourself, dressed or not? Is it okay to add unflavored protein powder to hot things like soups or hot chocolate? And finally, did you ever start dating that gentleman that was so interested pre-op? Okay. That is a lot of questions right there. I'm going to have to stop this for a second because my 15 minutes is almost up. Okay, I'm back. I really cannot believe that I'm already up to 15 minutes and I haven't even answered barely any questions. Okay, so do you notice the weight loss like we do? I think that I do. I talked about this in my body dysmorphia video. I do look at myself in a mirror every single day, all the time, full-length mirrors, clothed, not clothed. I take a lot of pictures that, some that I don't even show you, and I look at those pictures a lot. Whenever I go shopping, if I'm in a clothing store, every single time I pass by a full-length mirror, I make myself stop and look at myself in the mirror. And even better yet, when I'm walking past a mirror, I glance at myself out of the corner of my eye, because it seems like you can kind of really see how you look when you do that. So all of those tricks that I do, I think it helps me to be able to see myself as I really look. So I think that I do see myself the way that you guys see me. I think so. When do you weigh yourself, dressed or not? So I weigh myself first thing in the morning, right after I use the restroom, and I am not dressed at all. And that's why I think that that's the weight that I count. I don't pay any attention to the weight that's in the doctor's office. I don't care if their scale is 10 pounds higher than my scale. It's my scale weight that counts for everything. And that's the only thing that I ever report to you guys, is the weight that's on my scale at home. I don't ever care about the weight at the doctor's office. Is it okay to add unflavored protein powder to hot things like soups or sugar-free hot chocolate? Yes and no. I think that it depends on the protein powder. So I have used Isopure hot things, but I had to make sure that the temperature didn't go above 130 degrees. And my favorite protein powder to use was Undri, whereas their protein powder was safe to use for up to 140 degrees. And so for Undri, I didn't even need to add it to hot chocolate, because I used their chocolate protein powder as a hot chocolate. I diluted it with water, or I diluted it with Fairlife milk, or I put it in coffee, and it was delicious. I also did add unflavored powders to my soups and to my yogurts in the very beginning stages. I didn't like how it tasted all that much. It depended on the soup. And then I also used Undri's chicken flavored soup, chicken noodle flavored soup, whatever. Chicken broth. I don't know why I put noodle in there, but that was also very good. So really it depends on the company, on the product. I mean, read the label, look on their websites, but most of them I believe that you can. You just have to make sure that what you're adding it to is not too hot. It usually has to just be warm. And it's best not to reheat it again after you already have the protein powder in there. It's a big mistake if you do that. Yucky clumps of powder. Yeah, it doesn't come out well if you heat it after you add the protein powder. Okay, so 2 different people did ask me to talk about that guy that I was talking to right before surgery. So for those of you who did not see that video, probably about 4 weeks before my surgery, I met someone, and I was really up in an air about whether I should pursue this, because I was really focused on my surgery, and I didn't want having a relationship or something like that to interfere with my thought process for my surgery or getting ready for the surgery or whatever. So I did, we continued talking all the way up until I had my surgery, and then for a couple of weeks after my surgery. Now, he was a truck driver. I don't think that I ever told you guys that. And so because of that, I didn't realize that the day that I met him, that was the last time that I was able to see him, because he drives all over the United States. And so he wasn't going to be coming back into my area for quite some time. So it really was just all a telephone thing, and I never actually got to go out on a date or see him again or anything like that. So anyway, after I had the surgery, I was really focused on healing, and I wasn't really in the mood to talk on the phone very much. So we didn't have we talked on the phone almost every night before my surgery, but then after the surgery, we were only talking maybe twice a week. And then eventually I just decided to stop talking to him, because I wanted to focus on healing. And I felt like I was being unfair to him. I thought that I wasn't really giving him a chance because I wasn't being completely focused on him. And so, but I decided, who cares? You know, I'm going to be selfish. I want to take care of myself, and I don't want to worry about a relationship with someone else right now. And the funny thing about all of that, so it's like, so I let that go. I stopped talking to him. But then, literally a few weeks later, I met someone else. Now, it turned out, I found out that this person is actually not available at all. But in the process of getting to know this person, I started having feelings for this person. And I was really interested in talking to this person. And I realized, hey, wait a minute, I'm at the same stage that I was when I was talking to the other guy, and yet all I could think about was my surgery. And yet with this new guy, all I could think about was I wanted to get to know him better and I wanted to talk to him. And I realized that I wasn't trusting myself with that first guy. The reason I didn't want to talk to him anymore didn't have anything to do with my surgery. It was because he wasn't the right guy for me. And here I was doubting that. Like, I don't know, trying to find some other reason. I guess because it wasn't obvious to me. It's been a while since I've dated. So I wasn't trusting my own instincts. Whereas when I'm going to say when the right guy came along. Obviously, this wasn't the right guy because he's not available. But when a different guy came along who had more of the qualities that I really, truly was looking for, I immediately recognized that. And I was interested in talking to this guy. So, long story short, I'm not talking to that guy anymore. But I did learn a lot about myself while I was talking to him. I learned a lot about what I was looking for, what I wasn't looking for. The things that were going to be important to me and the things that were deal breakers for me. I relearned those things by talking to him. And then by meeting this other guy, I learned that, hey, when the right guy comes along, I will know it. So, right now, I'm ready. If the next guy comes along, I'll talk to him. But I'm not actively pursuing dating, so I'm not doing online dating or anything like that because I am still focused on myself. But if the universe brings me someone else, hey, I'll talk to him. So there's a long answer to that question. Next, VSG Gina, are you still having dizzy spells? Do you know what was causing them? Okay, so you've probably already seen me talk about this in a video, but my dizzy spells were being caused by my blood pressure medication. So even though I had started slowly decreasing my blood pressure medication, the dizzy spells did not go away at all until I was completely off of the medication. And once I stopped taking the medication, I never even had one other dizzy spell. So make sure, any of you guys who are listening, first of all, if you are having dizzy spells, it may or may not be your blood pressure medication. Make sure that you talk to your doctor first before you suddenly stop taking your blood pressure medication, because there are some blood pressure medications that it's dangerous to suddenly stop taking them. The medication that I was taking, metoprolol, which is a beta blocker, those are very dangerous to suddenly stop taking, and so you want to make sure that you slowly wean yourself off of off of that medication in particular before you stop taking it. So there's my public service announcement. And I am a healthcare professional, so I know what I'm talking about. That is absolutely 100% correct. Next, Angela Revised. I know you've had issues with your foot, but are there any physical activities that you are excited to make part of your routine as your weight continues to drop? Like swimming, biking, or any weightlifting? Okay, I like walking, and so I'm excited to hopefully be able to resume walking a whole lot more. And I like hiking. I want to hike some more. I do kind of like weightlifting, so if I ever join a gym again, I will also be doing that. And I guess my foot doesn't hinder me from doing that. It's just not wanting to join the gym right now is hindering me from doing that. So, yeah, I do like weights. So I'll eventually go back to the gym. So, yeah, I do like weights. So I will eventually get into that. But mostly I like walking. I can't swim actually. I'm not interested in learning how to swim, and I'm not really big on biking. So I'm almost at 15 minutes again. Okay, foodie turned sleevey. What has surprised you the most about this journey post-op? I think I thought that my body would respond differently to foods than it has. Not necessarily have food intolerances like some people have, but I thought that maybe things might change. Let's see, how do I explain this? So I'm a daily weigher, and for my 6-month pre-op diet, and also for years, I've actually off and on, I've been a daily weigher. So I know how my body responds to certain things. For example, if I drink alcohol, 100% of the time, the next day, my weight always drops. And then the day after that, then my weight increases. And my weight increases according to how many drinks I had had and how badly I had eaten while I was drinking, on those previous 2 days. And so I thought, or maybe I was hoping, but no, I really thought that certain things like that, that's just one example, I thought that things like that would be different. I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah, I thought that my body might respond differently to foods, on the scale and in terms of weight loss and things like that. That I would be more sensitive to carbs or less sensitive to carbs, like the scale would be more or less sensitive. And I haven't noticed any difference whatsoever. Like in terms of all those types of things, it's as if I didn't have surgery at all. Like my body has not changed in that way. Which you probably might think, you might not have expected your body to change that way, but there are a lot of studies where they don't know what the different mechanisms are, but clearly our metabolism changes after surgery. Dr. Matthew Weiner talks about your set point changing. There's a lot of some people, they're diabetic before surgery, and some people literally wake up from surgery and they're no longer diabetic. And so it's before they actually lost weight from the surgery, so it's not necessarily their weight loss, but all of a sudden they're not diabetic anymore, and the only thing they've done is just had this sleeve cut out of them. And I've also read some other interesting studies that I'm not going to go into right now, but I did do a video early out where I talked about why I chose to have weight loss surgery. And in that video, I'm talking about, I did not choose to have the surgery for the restriction. That is not the reason that I had it whatsoever. I had it for the metabolic changes and to help keep me from regaining my weight. And so I thought that it would be more obvious to me what some of those changes were. Now I have to stop this video again. Okay, so yeah, foodie. As weird as that might sound, at the moment, that's the biggest thing that I can think of that surprises me so far about the journey. If I think of something else, I'll mention it on one of my update videos. Okay, next, from River Swept. I love your gratitude videos, and I was wondering, do you change up your moments of gratitude with different things, or do you do the bubble bath with candles, giving yourself time to reflect? I'm not sure exactly what the question is. I guess let me just talk about what I do for gratitude, and maybe that answers the question. Right now, so what I do is every single morning I just think of 3 things that I am very grateful for. So I do that every single morning. Then, while I am working, I also have to constantly repeat to myself things that I am grateful for, because that is what helps me get through the day, since I don't really like my job all that much and I work very long hours. So while I'm working, I am constantly repeating things to myself that I am grateful for. Also, later on in the day, I have started finally getting really good at constantly just acknowledging things that I'm grateful for. Like, I just stepped outside a few minutes ago, and while I was outside, I thought it felt so good, and I thought, oh, I'm so grateful that I live here. I'm so thankful that I made the right choice to move here 13 years ago. I love how it feels outside. I love living in Arizona, and I'm so grateful for that. It's like I am starting to really make it more, instead of a daily gratitude practice where I'm just writing down 3 different things or I'm saying 3 different things, that I feel like I'm starting to live a little bit more in gratitude. I'm getting much better with that. And I think that my meditation is also what is helping me with that. And sometimes I do... my meditation app has daily meditations, and they have different theme meditations if you want to do those. And so they do have several on gratitude. And so sometimes I also, instead of the regular meditation, I'll do a gratitude meditation instead if I think that I am, my mouth is dry. If I think that I need some help with gratitude that day or something, then sometimes I do a gratitude meditation instead of my normal meditation in order to help me out with that. I hope that answered your question. Let's see. Mini Me in Tennessee. Did you ever imagine when you started your journey that it would be such an emotional roller coaster? Well, I hate to admit it, but for me it has not been an emotional roller coaster at all. At least not yet. Yeah. I guess I would have been surprised, perhaps, if it had been an emotional roller coaster for me. I probably shouldn't have said that, because that probably should have more explanation behind it, but this video is already long enough. Just because I've already lost and gained weight so many times, I didn't truly expect that this should be all that different, except for this time I'm going to keep it off. And so maybe I'll be emotional a year from now or 2 years from now, when I can't believe that I'm actually living a significant amount of time at a low weight. Maybe that is when I will become more emotional. I don't know. Or maybe once I get down to my all-time lowest weight as an adult, which is coming up soon. I don't know. But so far it has not been an emotional roller coaster to me. And this is probably going to be my last question, because I'm about to run out of space. Maria VSG 2017. Do you find any old habits creeping back in, and how do you deal with it? I have. Actually, one of the reasons that I started meditation was because my cravings returned. And I realized that I really only had cravings when I was very stressed out, because of work usually. So I started doing the meditation in order to help my cravings, and I never realized how much it was going to creep into other areas of my life and help me there too. But the number one reason that I meditate is so that I don't stress eat, and it really has helped a lot. That is my baddest habit, is eating out of stress. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to be mindful. I track everything, and so sometimes it's the act of tracking. Sometimes instead of eating, so I do have popcorn occasionally, and I weigh out 1 ounce of popcorn. There are times that I want to eat 2 ounces of popcorn, but I don't, because I don't want to have to put it in my FitnessPal. And so the fact that I'm tracking also kind of helps keep me from eating more than I should, or wanting to have the bad habit of eating, an extra serving. And then, I'm going to end this right now because I don't want this to be an hour-long video. And this is really all the memory that I have on my iPad. So I am really sorry, guys. I am going to have to pick this up again another day. Thanks for watching. Bye.